Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming today to Alex Memorial here. And I have a few words to say about him. For those who don't know me, my name is Dan Dobrich, and I'm here. I'm one of Alex's best friends. Today it's an honor and a blessing to pay tribute to a man who wasn't just my best friend, but he was also a husband, a father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather. Alex and I met when we went to Harry College High School in Hinton when we were about 16 years old. In high school, he was known as the guy with the Scottish accent. Alex was a very proud Scotsman and never failed to remind me of it, and probably all of you too, that he was from Scotland. He also known for being one of the best soccer players that we had in high school at the time, and also was an avid curler. After high school, he went to work for Tony Rockhill as an electrical apprentice. In 1965, myself and Alec took a road trip to Las Vegas. I think we were 21 years old then. We had $300 apiece in our pocket, no credit cards. We had a great time, with lots of laughs and a few arguments on the way. Within a year after our trip, we both got married, and Alex was my best man at my wedding. In 1988, we took our wives to Hawaii with Alex's parents and Len and Elder Smith. We got sunburned down there and had many laughs and had many happy hours, which continued when we got home. And many of our happy hours lasted into the wee hours of the morning. Alex was very passionate about his politics and served 5 terms on the Hinton Town Council and was mayor for 1 term. He was dedicated to his town duties and always had a ready smile. After retiring from CRC, he owned his electrical business in Hinton for about 3 years, and then in 2010 he moved to Victoria to be with his daughter Heather. When I was thinking about Alex and trying to put feelings into words, I came across a poem that expressed my feelings. I'd like to read this poem to you now. It's called Goodbye, My Friend. Though we never knew where life will take us, I knew it was just a ride on the wheel. And we never knew when death will shake us, and we wonder how it will feel. So goodbye, my friend. I know I'll never see you again, but the time together, through all the years, will take away those tears. It's okay now. Goodbye, my friend. I see a lot of things that make me crazy, and I guess I held on to you. You could have run away and left, well, maybe. But it wasn't time, and we both knew, so goodbye, my friend. I know I'll never see you again, but the love you gave me through all the years will take away those tears. I'm okay now. Goodbye, my friend. Thank you. Yep.
I'm going to sing a song that my dad actually requested me to sing. In 2005, I write my own songs, and in 2005 he emailed me. He wasn't out in Victoria yet, and he asked me to sing this at his funeral. So I'm just honoring that request. The song is titled Someday, and and it's just about everybody looking for someday it'll be okay. Which it will. Pardon me. Someday is it here, through my tears I have cried. Sorry, gonna start over. Someday is it here, through my tears I have cried. Oh, my someday, has it passed me by? Someday, is it gone across the ocean where I long? Oh, my someday, has it flown on by? Through the hills, across the sea, to the stars, eternity. Oh, my someday, along the bend where I've stumbled yet again. Oh, my someday, help me stand once more. Through the hills, across the sea, to the stars, eternity. Oh, my someday, my tears will fall, not for sadness of it all. Oh, my someday, they will be for you. Oh, my someday, they will be just for you.
I'd like to call on Larry Roth now to say a few words.
This thing hums when you lay it down. I came to Hinton from a little town called Lethbridge, and it was Dennis Kitaguchi that called me. to come to Hinton. You need to come to Hinton. And through Dennis, I met Alec, and we became immediate friends. And he introduced me to Beatles music and to Ian Fleming, James Bond books. And he always said through the years, I'd like to move back and live in Scotland. I don't want to live here anymore. I'd like to live in Scotland. But he never ever did go back. And he came to Edmonton shortly before my wife passed away to visit her before she passed away. And he came and did the eulogy at my wife's funeral. And he told me about this song that he had heard. And it goes like this. Oh, I wish I was in Glasgow with some good old friends of mine, some good old rough companions, and some good old smooth red wine. We could talk about the old days and the old town's sad decline, and drink to the boys on the road. And that great old place I miss so much has seen much better days, and still we talk about it as we go our separate ways. Oh, but Glasgow gave me more than it ever took away, and prepared me for life on the road. And Glasgow gave me more than it ever took away, and prepared me for life on the road. And Alec really loved Scotland, and he had been back there a few times. And it's a sad day that we have to be memorializing Alec because of such a freak accident. But in closing, you know, I loved Alec like a brother. And because he introduced me to my wife, and I got mixed up with all the rest of the oatmeal savages in Hinton. And so I'll close with this. I'm leaving my family, I'm leaving my friends. My body's at home, but my heart's in the wind. Where the clouds are like headlines on a new front page sky. My tears are salt water, and the moon's full and high. So please call my family and tell them don't cry, 'cause my goodbye is written by the moon in the sky. And nobody knows me, I can't fathom my stand, and shiver me timbers, I'm sailing away.
Yep.
I don't know how to shut this off.
That's okay, none of us do.
Thanks, Larry. Heather's going to have a few words to say now.
First of all, thank you so much for coming out. It means the world to me, and I want to thank you. I said I wasn't going to cry, but I just got back from scattering some of his ashes over my brother's grave and his father's grave, and it was good. Dad never strayed too far from what was happening in this town. In fact, he called me up shortly before he died to read a letter that Stuart Taylor had written in The Voice, and went so far as to defend Mr. Taylor's statement when he thought the editor wasn't being quite as understanding with what was being said by Mr. Taylor. Always the champion of truth, whether you liked it or not. He loved Hinton. And he was so very proud of what it stood for, the working man. His life at the mills and the mines taught him that if he worked hard, it would pay off. He described his younger years as shop steward and how he negotiated contracts on the soccer field after shutting down the mill. He said he was a bastard. He took no prisoners, but he fought and won many times for better working conditions and for fair wages. He once told me that the mill shut down over the length of his hair. He was asked to cut his hair, and if anybody knows my father, his hair never grew too long. And, well, he walked off the job, and all the men followed. Needless to say, he didn't get a haircut and was never asked to again. As a kid, when he worked at the mine, I remember Dad getting late night calls over shovel 6. Now, I have never worked at the mine, but I can tell you the number of times that that shovel went down from all the phone calls he received. Even today, I've always wondered why they just never bought a new one. Shovel 6 sucked. It was the bane of his existence. Yeah, he practically wired this entire town, and and the mine. But when it came to his own house, you couldn't run too many things or the fuse would blow. I always found that ironic. I always marveled at my dad for remembering names. He practically knew everyone in this town, and I always believed he made them feel connected when he ran into them. He would rattle this person's name and that person's name like old family friends, but in truth, you are that to him. His life was spent amongst you, all until he moved out west to Victoria to join my family. What I will always remember most of my dad is his sense of humor. He literally coined the phrase, "There are 3 F's in fuck off." And I think that should be a bumper sticker. It's brilliant. And he would say, "You know what I think about that, Heather? There's 3 F's." He's counting. Oh, yeah, you're right. The best was when it was completely inappropriate. And I just can't share some of those stories because it would be inappropriate. He would say to me, "Do you know what so-and-so's problem is?" And I'd say, "What, Dad?" And he'd say, "They're no funny." I think I would have written the 3 F's on his tombstone had he wanted a tombstone, but he didn't. I will share one, though, and it has to do with my poor husband, Chuck. My husband is American. Don't hold it against him. I apologize, as my dad would say. But my dad hadn't met Chuck, and when I told my father that I was marrying Chuck, the first thing he asked me was, "What's his last name?" I said, "Yule." "What kind of last name is that?" "Is he black?" I said, "It's worse. He's Catholic." True story. Silence on the end of the phone. Absolute silence. Get over it, Dad. I want to acknowledge, first and foremost, the town that honored my father in lowering the flags. That really meant a lot to my family. He loved his politics, and I'm very humbled by that gesture. Second is definitely Buzz Johnson, who couldn't be here today. But he will be receiving, I'm videotaping it for people back in Scotland, family back in Scotland, and definitely for Buzz. He's kept in contact and phoned me almost daily, and I can say that I found a new friend. And he's been a huge fan of my dad's. His unwavering support for me and my family is above and beyond. And I know why my dad loved him. He said to me a couple days prior that he had to uphold his image of raping and pillaging the village because he would bawl like a baby if he attended here today. I have my beautiful second cousin, my dad's first cousin, Anne, here, and she's got a Scottish accent, so watch out. Thank you so much for coming all this way. Auntie Mary, Uncle Paul, thank you so much. And definitely Susan, my cousin Susan, putting up with Chuck and I and Ian for the last few days and loving us through this. Definitely want to thank Cameron, our piper. I'm adopting him, so keep your hands off. He's going to stay in my life. You have no choice on that, my darling. Danny, Larry, Dorothy, I couldn't have done this without your help, your love, your support, and Dad absolutely loved you guys, and he's still loving you, just from afar. Lastly, I want to thank my husband and my son who could join me here today for your unwavering support and love through this time. I wasn't ready to lose my dad. I don't know if any girl's really ready to, but you loved me perfectly through this sad time. To my wonderful Darlene, my dad's girlfriend Darlene, I have to say thank you so much. You gave joy to my dad. You warmed his bed with a blow dryer so he wasn't cold. You cooked good dinners, and you kept him in line. And to the rest of you, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My dad was no angel, but he was mine. And I am really going to miss him. So thank you all for coming. And you have to have a drink.
Thank you, Daddy.
Thanks, Heather. Does anybody else like to have us say a few words? Just come up.
Thank you. Just relax now, everybody. Did you like the piper?
Yes.
The music he played was Morag Upton Megan, and my second daughter is Morag, and Alec and Larry over there, they sang the song at their wedding. So thank you for Morag Upton Megan. I'm getting older, so I can read better than I can remember. So I'm going to put this down for a second. A very famous Scotsman said, "Should all acquaintance be forgot?" And the answer, of course, to that is no. We should never forget our old friends. That is why I can't let my good friend Ali go quietly into that good night without saying a few words. Alec and I were very close. We arrived in Hinton together in 1957, almost 60 years ago. That's a long time. A lot of water passed under the Athabasca Bridge, and a lot of beer was drunk since then. I'm going to try and keep it brief, and I'm not going to be polite all the time because I'm going to show my friend as he really was, warts and all. I was just thinking today what an important part Robert, Etta and Alec played in our lives, because our family and the Galbraiths were very, very close for a long time. We celebrated all the important dates together. I mean, those dates in the Scottish calendar. The first one, of course, is Hogmanay, which is New Year's Eve, which is really an old pagan celebration of the winter solstice. And of course, the next important one was January the 25th, Robbie Burns' birthday. On those times we would get together, we would dance a bit, dance a lot, and drink a bit, or drink a bit and dance a lot. I can't remember. Since that date, they've added a new date to the Scottish calendar, which is St. Andrew's Day, November the 30th. But we didn't celebrate that too much. At 5 o'clock on December the 31st, Alec would arrive at our house because 7 o'clock in Canada is midnight in Scotland. And he came to First Foot and celebrate the New Year. His father had done that before him for many a year. If Alec wasn't in Hinton at the time, he would always phone when it was 5 o'clock in Hinton and midnight in Scotland. Alec didn't really go in for a lot of body art that you see today, but he really had Scotland tattooed on his heart. And you heard that today from Larry and Danny and Heather. He was very proud to be a Scotsman. He loved Scotland, he loved its music and its culture, and he had a good singing voice. And in those days of our celebration, he and Lorna would get together and they would sing, and they could both sing very well indeed. He remembered Scottish history, and he remembered Bannockburn with joy and Culloden Field with sorrow. But he was always very proud to sing the Scottish songs. He sang about the beauty of Loch Lomond, and he sang also about Scotland the Brave, and he sang that with great vigour. I think maybe Heather inherited her father and mother's singing voice. Alec was really a good guy, that is, most of the time. And it was an honour and a privilege to be his friend. He was very caring and loyal to his friends. And his friends were mostly the people he grew up with at school and in Hinton. And a lot of them are here today. Diane Erickson, Charlotte Lassery, and Danny, of course, and Larry, and a lot of other friends. And one of his great friends has passed on, Dennis Kiraguchi, the big Swede, he called himself. Danny, of course, was probably his best friend. We all kept in touch with Alec after he left town, and I spoke to him just a week before his bad accident. He had just moved from Sook to Victoria, and he was in good form and was quite sober that day. It was really good that he had so many friends, for it wasn't always easy. We had sometimes to take turns to be available when required. Danny most of all. Not all our conversations were nice and polite. Neither was Diane Erickson's. She used to give him the works as well. That's when he misbehaved, which was sometimes too often. But he never took offense when we gave him the works. But then again, he seldom paid no heed to all the advice I gave him. When I would say to him, Alec, alcohol won't solve your problems, he would be a smart ass and say, neither does milk, Duncan. He had so many friends, and his only enemy really was himself. He was his own worst enemy, but he knew that, and he tried hard, and he was very good for most of the time. When Alec went into local politics, he did that for the right reason. He wanted to give back to the town of Hinton, and he really didn't want to take. When we look at the radio and TV now, we see all this entitlement that's going on, and that was very foreign to Alec. It was a very famous politician who said, it was Abe Lincoln, I think, who said, nearly all men can stand a crisis, but if you want to know the true character of a person, give him power. I wouldn't really say that being a councillor or a mayor gave him a lot of power, but you know what I mean. He used his position with integrity and fairness. He was honest to a fault, and he believed, like Rabbi Burns said, that an honest man was the noblest work of God. Alec, of course, had a great capacity for friends and for love, for men and for women. He could truly say, like Burns said in his song, green grow the rashes o, the sweetest hours that I e'er spent, I spent amongst the lassies o. That was very true of Alec. He understood quite well that love might not make the round go round, but it sure made the ride well. And what a ride you had, Alec. I'll close now with a quotation from Rabbi Burns again. If there is another world, may you be in bliss. If there is none, you make the best of this. Goodbye, my friend, for all lang syne. Bye, Alec. Thank you for listening. Just relax now, you're all so tense.
Does anybody else like to come up and say a few words?
I think it's about time somebody heard a real Scottish accent. I mean, Duncan's was okay, but he's an islander. He's got a posh Scottish accent. Where Alec came from, we didn't have posh Scottish accents. We did have Scottish accents. Alec was my cousin. He left Scotland before I was born, but he always kept in touch. And whenever he came back to Scotland, he'd come back and see me. He loved driving about in my wee Beetle, although he thought I drove too fast. Oh, excuse me, hang on, there's a phone call here. It says number unknown. Hello? Alec? Where are you? He says he's not very sure, but it's hot. Okay, so have a look around. What can you see? He says there's a lot of Scottish people. That must be heaven then. He says he's not too sure, but it's all right. Yeah, and you're having a good time? Yeah, I'm in Hinton actually. Yeah, you should get over here, it's pretty good. Oh, he says it's half time at a football match, he's just got a couple of minutes before they go back. Is it the Rangers? Aye, and they're winning. They're beating Celtic 4-0. So he's having a great time. Yeah, no, I don't have the Beetle anymore. No, I crashed it. I was going too fast. Yeah. He says, I told you so. Okay, they're going back again. Okay, it was nice talking to you. Okay, I'll see you later. Actually, there's this thing that Duncan taught me. It's a slunge-of-or, clows and more. And it's what Scottish people say to each other. They say the first bit, slunge-of-or, which means cheers. But you're not allowed to say cheers in Scotland because it's rude. So you say health, and that's what slunge-of-or means. And in New Zealand, my husband's a New Zealander, and they say cheers, big ears. So I asked Duncan, like, how would you say that in Gaelic? So he translated for me, slunge-of-or, clows and more, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But Alec was my favourite cousin, and I'm sad he's gone, and I'm just amazed at what a fantastic turnout he got. But I'm not surprised. I mean, he knew everybody, he loved everybody, really he did. And he made everybody feel special, and I think that's why everybody's here. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Has anybody else got a few words to say? No? Okay.